for the Thursday, January 27th meeting of the Truckee Meadows Regional Planning Agency Commission, the Truckee Meadows Regional Planning Committee. And I guess I'll ask for roll call. Mr. Clerk, please.
All right. Kathleen Taylor?
Here.
Kate Nelson? Absent. Kyle West?
Here.
Larry Chesney?
Present.
Mark Johnson?
Here.
Peter Gower? Also absent. Sarah Chavilicek? As of right now, also absent. Scott Carey?
Present.
And Shelley Reed?
Here.
All right. I believe we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. With that, we will move on to the salute to the flag, and I will ask Commissioner West to lead us this evening. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. So moving on to our next item, number 3, approval of the agenda. Before I ask a motion on that, I do want to indicate that item D, the RPC training segment, we're going to go ahead and move that to next month's meeting. Jessica's going to lead that, and in the sense that she's both not here with us and not feeling 100%, we are going to push that on to next month. So with that change, I will ask for an approval of the agenda or motion for that.
I move to approve the agenda with that one removal of the training session tonight.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner West. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Reed. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, moving on to item number 4, public comment. Mr. Clerk, before we do call for public comment, can you run everybody through the online process, please?
I certainly can. Hold on one second and I will share my screen. Just got to go to our website. Okay, I'm going to share my screen real quick here. Okay, let's see. Oh, there it is. Let's see if I can maximize it. So if you want to leave digital public comment, you simply just go to teamrpa.org, and then you will click this right here, click to access the digital public comment card. And then when it pops up, you need to provide your name, your email, and then the item that you want to speak on. You can select it from a little drop-down list right here. And then indicate if you're going to be using video or phone. And then either way, we'll need you to fill out your phone number. And then it will give you, take you to a landing page that will have the Zoom credentials. And that is it. And if you want to leave comment on another item, you have to go back through and fill this out and indicate the item you want to speak on. So as simple as that. Just teamrpa.org, homepage, digital public comment card, fill this out, and you'll get the Zoom credentials for the meeting.
Okay, and with that said, do we have any public comment for this item?
Let me just verify real quick. We've not gotten any in person and no digital public comment either.
Okay. With that, appreciate that. We will close public comment and move on to item 5, approval of the minutes. This is from the December 6th Regional Planning Commission meeting. If there's any comments or a motion for approval.
Commissioner Chesney, move to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Commissioner Chesney. Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Commissioner Taylor will second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any additional comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Okay, with that, we will move on to business of the day. Item number 6A, Regional Plan Conformance Review. I'll turn it over to Director Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jeremy Smith for the record. Today we have item 6A is a public hearing, a regional plan conformance review for the Washoe County Master Plan, the Spanish Springs Area Plan, Appendix D, the Village Green Commerce Center specific plan, some amendments to that plan that Chris Tolley, Regional Planner, is going to take us through right now.
Great. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Chris Tolley, Team RPA. I'm going to share my screen or launch the presentation and then share my screen and we'll get going. All right, hopefully everybody can see the screen share presentation. So as introduced by Director Smith, this item is a conformance review of the Spanish Springs Area Plan, Appendix D, the Village Green Commerce Center Specific Plan, which is an amendment to the Washoe County Master Plan. All right, so this request is an amendment to that named specific plan, primarily to remove requirements that apply to the large parcel as part of this, which is 534-56110. We'll show the actual site in greater detail a little later in the presentation. Additionally, to remove Goal 5 and to modify additional components. The subject site is located in Tier 2 of the Truckee Meadows service area. And finally, regional planning staff recommends that the amendment conforms with the 2019 Truckee Meadows Regional Plan. So this is the full list of the amendments to the Village Green property and Washoe County staff for updates and to maintain compatibility of the site with surrounding properties. So this, on the right of the slide, does show the specific plan property. The westernmost parcels on the left are owned by Washoe County, and the subject parcel for the majority of the very specific requests in this amendment is on the right-hand side, or the easternmost property. So the notable changes, Goal 5 is proposed for removal, and this is supported by the fact that the infrastructure improvements referenced in the goal have been completed. The property owner for the large parcel, again on the easternmost, is requesting to be exempted from the provisions listed in number 7 on that sheet on the previous slide. And the low-impact development and environmental sustainability standards listed in number 13. These requirements are applicable only to these two properties. Essentially, as I noted, the westernmost are owned by Washoe County and are for a sediment control basin. So large parcel, as noted, is the easternmost in the specific plan boundary, and you can see the actual boundary of the specific plan. The property on the northern side is it's a residential unit. It was a part of the specific plan, but was removed, I believe, in 2014 or 2015. So in regards to number 7 and 13, again on the previous slide, the list of amendments, each of these encourage development in the specific plan to incorporate these themes into proposed development. The regional plan requires many of these subjects to be addressed at the local jurisdiction's master plan level and implemented across, and this is generally speaking, across the city or in the unincorporated areas of Washoe County. The implementation of each of these policies may include smaller geographies, such as a suburban character management area. And finally, it's not the intent of the regional plan to target specific properties in terms of our policies. So policy RC9 of the 2019 regional plan identifies the 5 factors that the RPC must consider when evaluating conformance. We'll address regional form, public facilities and services, and natural resources, and as per usual, this is a summary of the analysis presented in the staff report. So in regards to regional form, the subject site has been planned for non-residential since 2009, which is not being modified here. Therefore, no impacts to regional form have been identified. Additionally, many of the proposed changes are being proposed to address compatibility of the subject site with the surrounding residentially designated properties. And then, as noted earlier, the specific infrastructure referenced in Goal 5 has been completed, and therefore the goal is no longer necessary as far as part of the specific plan. And then finally, regarding natural resources, the 2019 Truckee Meadows Regional Plan's requirements have been addressed by the Washoe County Master Plan as a whole. And we expect that the Washoe County Master Plan's natural resources policies will be strengthened during the currently ongoing or currently happening, update to their master plan. And then as noted, the proposal will remove the low-impact development and sustainable themes from being a requirement for the specific parcel. However, they could still be implemented as an option of the property owner. And then Washoe, or the 2018 International Code, Engineering Conservation Code was adopted by Washoe County, which has shifted building code standards towards better or greater energy efficiency, and these are applicable countywide in the unincorporated county areas. And then finally, a trail easement is being added to the Washoe County-owned parcels to replace the equestrian easement, which is a part of this specific plan. So as noted, staff is recommending that the proposed amendment conforms with the 2019 Truckee Meadows Regional Plan. And the proposed motion is listed on the screen. That does conclude TMRPA, or my presentation. However, staff from Washoe County and TMRPA are available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Before I check on public comment, I'll ask the commissioners for any disclosures they might have. I'll start with Commissioner Chesney.
I have no questions.
Commissioner Reed.
Nope. Sorry, I have no disclosures on this.
Commissioner Carey.
I don't have any disclosures on this item. I may have a question after public comment.
Understood. Thank you. Commissioner Taylor.
I do not have any disclosures.
And Commissioner West.
I do not have any disclosures.
Nor do I, Commissioner Johnson. Mr. Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on this item for public comment?
We have not received any for this item.
Okay. Then I'll bring it back to the commission for questions. I will throw it to Commissioner Carey since he kind of primed me with that one. So, your question, Commissioner Carey?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was a little confused on goal number 5. It's my understanding the property is owned by Washoe County. They have constructed a drainage facility, and the intent of goal 5 was that there would be infrastructure built on this property. My question is if goal 5 is removed from the specific area plan, would the county still be required to maintain that infrastructure, or is it just we're removed and that language is not really needed?
Commissioner Carey, you cut out right there at the end of your question.
Oh, sorry about that. I guess my question is that if the infrastructure has been completed, oh boy. So it looks like I'm having internet issues. I was just kind of curious about goal 5, if staff could dive into that a little bit further.
I'm going to invite Julie up to address the maintenance portion of it. But just for a point of clarification, the two east or the westernmost or the parcels on the left side of the slide would be, those ones are owned by Washoe County. And then the remaining 2, so that's the middle southern parcel and then the easternmost parcel, are privately owned. So I'll invite Julie up to address the actual maintenance of the sediment control basins.
Good evening, Julie Olander, Washoe County Planning and Building. So goal 5 is infrastructure goal. It was for, it says Village Green Commerce Center will bring major elements of public facility plan to fruition, which include construction of an arterial roadway, Calle de la Plata, provide a flood control basin, and complete a planned signalized intersection. All of that has been completed at that location. So those items are no longer needing to be addressed by the developer of this plan area or in general. Do you have any, does that answer your question?
Thanks, Julie. And would the county maintain this infrastructure moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, this is talking about Calle de Plata, that's public right-of-way. Pyramid is maintained by NDOT, and then the detention basin is also Washoe County's.
The county would maintain the detention basin.
They're still maintaining it right now, yeah. It's Washoe County property, we maintain it, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, any additional questions for staff or Washoe County? Any discussion items or motion?
Commissioner Chesney, I move to find the Spanish Springs Area Plan, Appendix D, Village Green Commerce Center specific plan amendment to the Washoe County Master Plan in conformance with the 2019 Truckee Meadows Regional Plan based on the findings listed in the staff report.
Thank you, Commissioner Chesney. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Commissioner Taylor, I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, so I understand since this is a regional conformance, we actually need a majority of the total body, which would be all 6 individuals on this call. So just to be clear, Mr. Clerk, can you take a roll call vote for these, please?
I certainly can. Kathleen Taylor,
Yes?
Kyle West,
Yes.
Larry Chesney,
Yes.
Mark Johnson,
Yes.
Scott Carey,
Yes.
and Shelley Reed.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. Motion carries 6-0. So thank you very much. Okay. With that, we will move on to the next item on our agenda, item B for Regional Plan Conformance Review for the Plum Lane Business Park. Again, Director Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jeremy Smith for the record. Item 6B is a public hearing for a master plan amendment to change 5.88 acres of public quasi-public Wells Avenue neighborhood plan and public facility to suburban mixed use / Wells Avenue neighborhood plan, urban residential commercial, and 0.38 acres of single family neighborhood in the Wells Avenue neighborhood plan also to suburban mixed use. For this presentation, we have online Nate Kusha, our policy analyst.
Thank you. Good evening, commissioners. For the record, Nate Kusha with Team RPA. So as Director Smith mentioned, this item is a conformance review of the Plum Lane Business Park Master Plan Amendment. So quick overview, this is a City of Reno Master Plan Amendment to change the land use on about 6.26 acres from public quasi-public and single-family neighborhood to suburban mixed use. The amendment site is generally located on the northeast corner of Yory Avenue and Casaza Drive intersection, and east of Yory Avenue between Casaza Drive and East Plum Lane. Regional planning staff does recommend that this master plan amendment conforms with the 2019 Truckee Meadows Regional Plan. The subject site lies within the Tier 1 regional line designation where there is no maximum density. Facilities and services are generally in place and is appropriate for intensification. This land use change does bring an increase in housing density and choice to the area. The subject site is located in a previously developed area where city services are already provided. Existing infrastructure serving adjacent developments is in place, which is expected in Tier 1 area. And this amendment is compatible with the surrounding land uses. So going over our review criteria, for population growth, the increased density of housing does lead to potential for more affordable housing units in the region. The Tier 1 regional land designation is second in our priority hierarchy for development of the regional plan, so densifying here is great. As mentioned, the site is already developed, so facilities and services are available. There are no natural resource constraints or impacts that were identified. And finally, no applicable regional coordination policies were identified beyond the conformance review findings. So with that, there's a motion overhead, and myself, as well as City of Reno staff, are available for any questions.
Thank you, Nate. Appreciate that. Commissioners, I will once again ask if there's any disclosures. I'll start in the room this time. Commissioner West.
No, I have no disclosures.
Thank you. Commissioner Chesney?
I have none.
Commissioner Reed?
I have no disclosures.
Commissioner Taylor,
No disclosures.
Commissioner Carey,
I have no disclosures, Mr. Chair.
and Commissioner Johnson, also no disclosures. Mr. Chair, do we have any requests to speak under public comment on this item?
We have received none for this item.
Okay, thank you. I'll bring it back to the commission for any questions of staff on this project. I'm not seeing any, then I guess I will ask one quick question of Nate. I just want to understand, so one of the policies that we talk about is public facilities, and obviously this is a zone change away from a public facility designation. So was there any sort of analysis of the need for that, or what was the way that staff looked at that with respect to
Facilities and services. I believe that is the portion of the site that is currently parking lots. So there are no actual public facilities kind of there for that purpose. So it's really just a change to increase density in kind of a more central area in our region. And so we thought that was good, and it wasn't taking any public facilities and services away from the site.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that was analyzed when you were looking at it. So thank you for that. Commissioners, any other questions? Not seeing any, so I would look for either discussion or a motion on this item.
Commissioner West, I'm ready to make a motion.
Commissioner West, the floor is yours.
I move to find the Plum Lane Business Park Amendment to the City of Reno Master Plan in conformance with the 2019 Truckee Meadows Regional Plan, based on the findings listed in the staff report.
Thank you, Commissioner West. I have a motion. Looking for a second.
Commissioner Chesney will second.
Thank you, Commissioner Chesney. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mr. Chair, or excuse me, Mr. Clerk, could I have another roll call vote on this since it is a conformance review?
You certainly can.
Thank you.
All right. Kathleen Taylor,
Yes.
Kyle West,
Yes.
Larry Chesney,
Yes.
Mark Johnson,
Yes.
Scott Carey,
Yes.
and Shelley Reed.
Yes.
All right. I believe that's
Thank you.
unanimous.
Motion passes 6-0. Thank you very much. Okay. Moving on to the next item on our agenda, item number C, public hearing regional plan conformance review for the Washoe County Master Plan Amendment, North Valley's CMA mapping. Director Smith.
Mr. Chair, Jeremy Smith for the record. This item 6C is a public hearing for a regional plan conformance review. The North Valley CMA mapping, master plan amendment to the North Valley's area plan, Appendix A, character management plan map for the purpose of removing 251 parcels from the North Valley's rural character management area. Once again, we have Nate Kusha who will give us a presentation and take us through the item.
All right, good evening again, Commissioners. Nate Kusha for the record. As Director Smith mentioned, this is a conformance review of the North Valley's Character Management Area Mapping Master Plan Amendment. So, quick overview, this is a Washoe County Master Plan Amendment to remove 251 parcels from the North Valley's Rural Character Management Area, or RCMA, in order to correct non-conforming regulatory zones. Regional planning staff does recommend that this amendment does conform with the 2019 Truckee Meadows Regional Plan. So some background, kind of what's going on here. So during the regional plan update, the Reno-Stead Corridor Joint Plan was sunsetted. Following the removal of the joint plan, Washoe County staff discovered that the North Valley's Rural Character Management Area, or again, RCMA, was mapped by default for all of the areas that were previously within the joint plan due to a technical oversight. So this created regulatory zone nonconformance on the majority of those joint plan parcels because the RCMA only allows for 5 regulatory zones. So therefore, in order to correct these nonconforming zones, Washoe County has proposed removing these parcels from the North Valley's Rural Character Management Area. So the subject parcels span Tier 2 and Tier 3 in Washoe County's jurisdiction. Again, these were all parcels that were previously in the Reno-Stead Corridor Joint Plan. There is no land use change being requested with this proposal. Rather, the parcels will simply be removed from the RCMA, but will still remain in the North Valley's area plan. So with that, for our review criteria, as there's no change to the land uses, PMRPA staff found that the proposal will have no negative impact to the 5 review criteria listed above and will ameliorate nonconformity within the Washoe County Master Plan. So with that, there's a motion overhead, and myself as well as Washoe County staff are available for questions.
Thank you, Nate. Appreciate that. Mr. Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on this item?
We have none.
Okay, and I guess, Commissioners, are there any disclosures on this? Not seeing any. So I will ask if there are any questions of staff. Nobody's raising their hands. Scott, Scott's hand is up on the video screen. I got to tell you, Scott, that hand is really tiny when I'm looking at the screen. Your hand that's much bigger. So thank you. Let's do that next time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I got kind of a dumb question here. I'm not too familiar with the RCMA. I was just kind of curious, what's the intent of removing that designation on these subject parcels?
Right. So when these parcels were removed from the joint plan, my understanding is they defaulted back to the RCMA within the North Valleys area plan. So that's a kind of a subset within the North Valleys area plan. Because the RCMA only allows for very specific zoning, those parcels didn't have that zoning when they were defaulted back to that. So they're kind of in a non-conformity limbo within the Washoe County Master Plan. So simply taking them out of the RCMA, they maintain their land uses and zoning, but they will be conforming because they're no longer in that rural character management area, if that helps.
Yeah, I think it does. And so removing that would help advance the respective tier 2 and tier 3 future development designations. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Carey. Commissioners, any additional questions? Or discussion or a motion?
Commissioner Chesney? I move to find the North Valleys Character Management Area Mapping Amendment to the Washoe County Master Plan in conformance with the 2019 Truckee Meadows Regional Plan based on the findings listed in the staff report.
Thank you, Commissioner Chesney. I have a motion on this item. Looking for a second.
Commissioner West, I second that motion.
Okay. Thank you. I have a motion from Commissioner Chesney and a second from Commissioner West. Any further discussion? Okay, Mr. Clerk, one more time, could I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, of course. Kathleen Taylor.
Yes.
Kyle West.
Yes.
Larry Chesney.
Yes?
Mark Johnson.
Yes.
Scott Carey.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Shelley Reed.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. Motion passes. Appreciate that. All right, so moving on, we're on to item 7, reports, members and directors' reports. I'll turn it over to Director Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chairman Smith, for the record, I have a pretty short report for you tonight. Just kind of wanted to say our next meeting is scheduled for February 24th, and it will be in this chamber, or depending on how things look, maybe we may go full digital, but we'll have to see how things are looking at that point. Just a couple of updates of what we're working on, what's cooking. Our Truckee Meadows annual report has kicked off. We've sent out requests to the jurisdictions and affected entities for those information, and we're looking to, we've kind of been continuing to get back on track. State law asked that to be kind of wrapped up and delivered by the 1st of April. So we're doing quite a bit better in terms of getting out in front of that. And I think, as you guys know, our TMAR site has been evolving, and we're continuing to evolve that and hopefully make the data more accessible for the community to use. In kind of alignment with that, we are beginning conversations about our public infrastructure planning initiative, something that came out of the 2019 regional plan update. We think it's a really important aspect, just basically looking to consolidate information about infrastructure planning into a GIS, into a central database that we can use more easily to compare what's being planned for certain areas and to utilize that when we're trying to make decisions like we did tonight, to have that at our fingertips. And a big part of that is really our data tracking, or what we call our land use fabric, where we take the Washoe County assessor parcel data in GIS and we add in all of the information we understand about proposed or actually approved projects, approved entitlements, tentative maps, that sort of thing. Our own Damian Kerwin has been hard at work, very focused on getting that up to date, and we're very close to having that up to date as of the end of last year. So that's actually pretty real time, and we're working towards a quarterly update of that data. And our hope is that we'll be able to actually make that data set available online to everyone to use in early April of this year, and then keep it up every quarter. So kind of improve the transparency and get that data out there so other folks can use it as well. And then on the data front, we're basically closing in on ending the big data gathering effort for our natural resources plan. And so what we will do is we'll coordinate with our consultant Cardno at the beginning of February, see where we landed in terms of talking with other entities and organizations and getting access to their data. And then we'll bring back an update item for you all at the February meeting so you can understand where we're at. The last bit would be kind of, I guess, stepping back to the TMAR and the data. We're also starting off on our 2022 consensus forecast process. That's something we do every 2 years, and that's an outlook on future population and job growth over the next 20 years in Washoe County. I don't have a report yet to say what that's going to look like, but hopefully in February or March, we'll be able to give you an update on how that's looking. With that, I will stop. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Any members' reports under this item?
I don't have a report. I didn't know if now was an appropriate time. I wanted to make a comment.
We'll call it a members' report. How's that?
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to take a moment to express how deeply sorry and saddened I am at the passing of a dear friend, Michael Marino, on Tuesday. I'm sure many of you knew Michael as a community leader and colleague with the RTC for 20 years, but he was also a very kind and gentle soul who loved his family, and he was so very proud of his grandchildren, and he was a champion of our community, and I just want to express how much he'll be missed.
Wow.
Thank you, Commissioner Reed. I will definitely echo those sentiments. It was quite the blow to hear that. So. Commissioner Filicek, I see.
Oh, that is, I didn't hear that at all. Oh my gosh. Yes, I would also echo, I knew him well, I know him well, and he was always a champion for so many things that I care so deeply about. So thank you. I'm so sorry, Shelley. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Sorry, Jessica. I'm using that to lead into the legal report, so I'm just going to apologize up front for that. So.
Nothing to report tonight. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for your continuing the bylaws presentation item until next month. I promise I'll be back to 100%, I hope.
We wish you the best. So.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 8, request for future agenda items. Any suggestions from commissioners? Okay, seeing none, I'll move on to second public comment. Damien, do we have any requests to speak on this item?
We've received none.
Okay. And I see nobody in the audience here wishing to speak, so we will close that. Ask for any written correspondence?
No, we do not have any.
Okay. Then the final item of the evening is adjournment.
Chesney, move to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 That's the one constant that I know of. I can count on Commissioner Chesney to perk right up and throw that motion. Thank you, everyone. Again, we'll see what happens for the next meeting, but everybody stay safe. For those of you that are feeling a little under the weather, please get better, and we will talk to you again next week. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.